What's going on, everybody? Today in this video I want to kind of show you a few ways to figure out if you're having a hard drive failure or if you're having a more serious issue with your computer and maybe it's not the hard drive. Then kind of what to do to fix your issue. If you've tried some of the other stuff like the system restore or the drivers and you're still having a problem, this is kind of like the final steps to do. So first thing you might want to check is, well, if you have an HP or a Dell computer, you will actually have the option for hardware diagnostics that can check your hard drive and tell you if your hard drive is bad. Now, usually if your hard drive has failed completely, you won't be able to make it into the operating system. Your computer just won't boot into the sign-in screen, because if the hard drive's not working, then obviously it's not going to load any of the information on the hard drive. So your operating system just wouldn't load, in which case you would probably want to go into the BIOS. Now, depending on your computer, it may be different ways to get into the BIOS, but essentially you have your computer off. You tap a specific key. That key depends on the manufacturer. For HP, it's going to be F10. Dell, it would be F2. Most computers, it is F2. If it's custom built, sometimes it's a delete. It just depends on the motherboard or the manufacturer as to what key you tap when you turn the computer on to get into the BIOS. And let's see, the BIOS is going to look something like this. And you can kind of check, like this one for example. You can see first drive, and it's got the name of the hard drive in there. It says Samsung. It doesn't mean it's a Samsung computer, it means it's a Samsung hard drive. They're all going to have different parts in there. It may say Toshiba, it may just have a serial number, but if you can see the hard drive in the BIOS, that's a good sign. It doesn't necessarily mean you're not having a hardware problem, but at least it's being detected. Same thing here, you can kind of see it there. Or you can go into the boot menu. Boot menu is another way to see it. On an HP, it's F9 for the boot menu. Most other computers, it's F12, such as Dell. But if you want to get into the diagnostics, if you have an HP computer, you're going to turn it off, you turn it on, and you tap F2 repeatedly as fast as you can, and it will take you to a screen that looks something like this. And you'll see the system test, component test. Basically, you're going to either run the system or the component test. If you do choose component, you'll get a list, something like this. You can go to the hard drive section and you can run. It'll have a couple different versions of the hard drive test. It'll have like a quick test and a fast test and an extensive test. Just run the fastest one, whether it's the quick test or the fast test. Either way, it'll only take a few minutes. It'll check the hard drive and let you know if you're having a problem with your hard drive. If it's a Dell, it would be tap F12 when you turn the computer on, and then you'll see diagnostics as an option. You'll use the arrows to select it, hit enter, and then it just kind of automatically runs this full diagnostics test on all the parts that it can, and gives you a bit of a report. If it fails, you'll know it. You will get a failure code. Another option on an HP computer is to tap the escape key. When you first turn it on, it takes you to the startup menu, and then it kind of shows you what the rest of the function keys will do from this point. If you want to go to system info, you can hit F1. If you want to go to diagnostics, hit F2. So if you're tapping F2 on startup, it's not working, try escape. Once you get to the startup menu, then all you have to do is hit F2 and it should take you there. Same thing with the boot menu and the BIOS, as well as recovery. So we'll kind of get into the recovery in just a second, but it is F11 on an HP. I'll leave that right there. So I want to show you what you can do if you can get into the operating system of your computer, or at the very least, if you can just simply get to the login screen where you put your password in. On your keyboard, you have the shift key, right? And if you hold down the shift key and go to restart, and you restart your computer while you're holding down the shift key, what it's going to do is take you to the advanced boot options or the Windows recovery environment. I'm going to show you what that looks like right here. It'll say choose an option. Usually it just says continue, troubleshoot, and turn off. You're always going to go to troubleshoot if you go in here. Troubleshoot will look something like this. This is actually a Windows 10 screenshot, so ignore the refresh one. You're not going to see that. You'll just see reset and advanced. Reset will give you two options: delete everything or keep your files in your account. So you always want to try keep my files in account first before you delete everything, unless you're trying to get rid of the computer. Then you would just delete everything, and that completely removes everything. If you go to advanced options, you should see System Restore, and we've talked about System Restore in a different video, so just kind of check the channel for that. System Image Recovery, and this is usually going to be the manufacturer's recovery. If you have an HP, you'll see another option. I'll show you what it looks like. It's going to say HP Recovery Manager. I would use that if you have an HP. If you don't have an HP, System Image Recovery will take you to a place where you can do a factory reset on your computer, completely wipe it out, start over from the beginning. You have Startup Repair in here. I don't recommend ever using this. I've never really had it work. I've tried it multiple times on multiple people's computers. It never really works. So just don't even bother with that. You can get to a command prompt from here, and then startup settings. So if you're curious, startup settings is where you would go to get to safe mode and all these types of things. So startup settings will take you to, let's see, do they have a screenshot of it in here? Yeah. This page, and then you're going to have all your old school kind of safe mode options. And if you're ever going to go into safe mode, I would just hit number 5 here, safe mode with networking, and that's pretty much it. And then it will take you into safe mode with networking. And if we put HP at the end, then it should show us, yeah. So if you are working with HP, you'll see HP Recovery Manager in here. I would use that one to do the recovery. But if you're able to get, that's all if you're not able really to get to either the login screen. If your computer fails to boot 3 times in a row, but the hard drive still functions, and you're just having a software issue with your operating system, 3 failed boots in a row, the 4th time you turn your computer on, it should automatically just take you to that recovery environment that I was just showing you. Or you could try the shift reboot if you are able to get to at least the sign-in page. Or if it's the HP, you could turn the computer on tapping F11, and that would work to get you there. Now, if you are able to get into the operating system, a lot of people will say, well, what do I do if I can't get in? And you don't need to do it that way. You go to the settings. So I just hit Windows key I, and it takes me to the settings. Lots of different ways to get to the settings. You would go to, what's it called? Update and security. And then from here on the left, you've got recovery. And in here, you can get to this button, Advanced Startup. If you click Restart Now, it will restart you into that blue-looking screen with the advanced boot options, the Windows recovery environment with all of the options that I just showed you. And you can do that from here. Or you could choose Reset this PC, and this is basically a factory reset, and you have 2 options. Keep my files, which keeps your files and your account, and then remove everything, which deletes literally everything. Now, if you have the latest version of Windows 10, you will have this additional option, which I actually recommend you try this one first. It's called a Fresh Start. And if you click here, it's going to say, hey, did you want to do this? Yes. It's going to take you to Windows Defender, and you can just get to this through Windows Defender, but I feel it's a little easier to do it from here. Fresh Start. So it's a clean and up-to-date install of Windows. So it's going to reinstall your operating system, and it's going to update it at the same time. So you're going to have the latest version of Windows. So you don't have to go through and do all these updates, you know, by yourself when you're done with doing, like if you didn't do the Fresh Start and you just did the reset. When you're done with that, you have to do all the updates that you don't have yet. So this Fresh Start one is going to save you some time with that. It will remove any third-party programs and apps that you may have added to your computer, but it should keep your personal files, your account, and all that stuff. And it's going to keep your updates as well. So doing the Fresh Start would be my first choice. If that didn't work, then I'd come in here, do the reset, keep my files. If that doesn't work, remove everything. If that doesn't work, you need to get recovery media from your manufacturer, or you need to make recovery media yourself, which you actually can do if you go to Google You can make your own recovery media with a flash drive or some double layer DVDs. All you have to do is type in Windows 10 recovery media creation tool, and it's going to be the very first one. And you can download this installation media tool, and you can use that to create your own recovery media, as well as, oh, somebody's at the door. You can use that to create your own recovery media from a flash drive, or just do the install from there. So I'm going to have to cut the video here. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Like if you learned something, subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see you guys next time.